Have you ever stopped to think how fucking weird video games are? Like, there's games that'll stand the test of time and get vacuum sealed and sell for over 100K online. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are games that'll never get their time in the sun and their servers will shut down and you'll never get to play them ever again. That's some weird shit, y'all. Like, more money and effort goes into making like multiplayer focused experiences than any other medium. Hell, I bet it costs more to make the multiplayer in BioShock 2 than it did to make the movie Whiplash. And I can watch Whiplash any day of the week, but it would take me a considerable amount of time and effort and more friends than I actually have to get a lobby of BioShock 2's multiplayer going. Why would you ever invest so much time, effort, and money into something that will ultimately go dormant in a few years? Multiplayer games are less of an interactive art and more like a sport. The consumers aren't quite here for story, more so for action. But unlike most sports, games have to continue to evolve at a much more rapid rate, entertaining the fan base and profiting. You don't see James Naismith out here trying to sell, the basketball battle pass or customizable skins for the ball. It's quite easy for competitive multiplayer games to come in and out of fashion. Like, you don't see many people talking about Brink, Loadout, or even games as recent as Dirty Bomb. Hell, The Calling 2, a sequel to the game that kick-started the Battle Royale genre, didn't even last a month. On top of the race for relevance, developers and publishers have to continually find non-intrusive ways to profit from these games. All of which culminates into making a multiplayer game an absolute nightmare to create and sustain. It's really just a lot of fast cash and luck. But there is one studio that's doing it right and has been forging their own niche in the multiplayer space for over 8 years. And that studio is Overkill with the Payday franchise. Now, this won't be a comprehensive review of the game, nor any kind of retrospective. There's plenty of great videos that already do just that. The game is very much alive and the community is thriving, which is why I want to look at it and break it down in order to admire the unique niche that Payday 2 and its devs have created. To really dig into this, I've separated the game into 5 facets that make it a good multiplayer community, which are as follows: a strong foundation, a healthy monetization practice, communication with the community, positive gameplay loops that lessen toxicity, and the community takeover. My great-grandmother Gigi always said that great aspirations require strong foundations, and while this mostly applied to the times when we played Jenga together, it fits here for 2 reasons. First off, it's applicable to Payday 2, obviously. And secondly, it gives me a reason to brag about how much of a kick-ass Jenga player I am. Take me one-on-one in Jenga, I dare you, you will lose, guaranteed. Anyway, back to the main point here. Payday 2's incredible run is 100% attributed to the first game's success and great foundations that it laid. Payday the Heist was the first installment of the franchise, released in 2012 for the PC and PS3 as a downloadable exclusive title. Upon release, the game only had 8 heists, a stark difference from the 60+ that the sequel boasted. At its core, Payday the Heist is just Left 4 Dead with different gun feel and no zombies. However, Payday primarily deviated from Left 4 Dead in one way, a way that would show just how much the developers aspired for close interaction with the community. That one thing just so happens to be a very clever augmented reality game, a game within a game, if you will. Now, I'm not going to deep dive into the ARG because this isn't a retrospective and there are so many better videos on this topic. This whole thing was linked to a DLC pack that included new heists, guns, and masks, but if you didn't purchase the DLC, you weren't completely locked out of the ARG altogether. You could still play the new levels if you could find a lobby or had a friend that had bought the DLC. Not separating the player base behind a paywall is a solid way to not only satisfy fans, but drive the sales. Wow! Who would have thought of that? Isn't that such a neat idea? Isn't that such a great idea to drive sales? Destiny 1? Destiny 2? Destiny's Child? It took the community a few months to beat the ARG, and the people who could show proof of completing the secret were given a spot on the plaque in the secret room, and they got to beta test Payday 2. I don't think that there's a smarter way to reinforce a strong community and hype up your next game. Oh yeah. Maybe it's also important to note that Overkill is very much an indie studio at this time. Let that sink in. An indie studio pulling in dedicated multiplayer numbers. If that doesn't blow your mind, you either have two brains and one of them's outside your head, or you have a skull emptier than my inbox waiting for an offer from Nintendo.
Did someone leave the stone?
Monetizing an online multiplayer game is a lot like that magic trick where the magician throws knives around their assistant. If you do it right, the assistant stays on the cutting edge without bleeding and wows and inspires others. But if the magician misses, they run the real risk of accidentally killing their assistant and getting sued by their family. And I don't know about you guys, but magicians don't make a whole lot of money. Either way, Overkill was running low on funds despite the success of Payday the Heist, and this is where Starbreeze and 505 Games step in. Starbreeze sort of merged with Overkill and started to co-develop the game while 505 Studios came in to publish it. This really muddies the water of Payday 2's development, making it bigger, better, and albeit weirder. Now again, this is not a retrospective, and good gravy, this is a big mess to unpack, and we're still unpacking it today, but I'll just say that nice foundation that the first game laid out was completely reworked for the worse, and the game would suffer down the road for it. However, in the early years of the game, everything seemed to be going well. Community events like Crime Fest and constant DLC packs helped to not only keep the game afloat, but the fan base excited. These paid DLCs ranged wildly from amazing and game-changing, cool but feels out of place, utilitarian or useless, and just downright fucking stupid.
This is gonna be a weird one, gang.
Now, keep in mind, if you were starting from day one of this game, there would be 38 paid DLCs like this, not to mention the soundtracks that you could purchase and exclusive skins. Paid DLC would run anywhere from $2.99 to $6.99, and this is on top of an already $40 game. Let me make this abundantly clear. No other modern game could pull shit like this off. They would be crucified to all hell and the game would instantly die. But of course, these DLCs didn't drop all at once and they were spread out over the game's life. Also, it's important to know that there were 37 similar DLCs released for free, along with free masks, soundtracks, and updates. So the team gave away almost as much free DLC as they made paid DLC. For those players who stayed with the game a while, the devs continued to add higher and higher difficulties. They kept adding new mechanics, new incentives, and continued to change up the meta. They also bundled the game at a few different points in time so that new players could hop in and not have to buy a ton of previous DLC. This is one of the most interesting ways to not only push the lifespan of your game, but also make money off of it. But that's not to say that they were perfect in any way, shape, or form.
Someone turn the heat up.
The only unfortunate side to being a dev with an ear for the players and a heart full of indie love is that they have to wear the leash of the publisher. When some people start to make promises that they can't really hold up, it hurts the reputation of the developer that's known for listening to their fans. If a promise isn't upheld, or at the very least a reason isn't given for why something is falling through, it's gonna stay around to haunt them. Things like a promised 7-day heist, or Infamy version 3, or updates to the console version, which have, as of recently, been fixed, but not to the same specifications as what the PC players have. But most damning of all has to have been the company backing down from their no microtransactions policy. With the second Crime Fest came the Hype Train event, and with that came the ability for fans to purchase the completely Overkill pack. This was a move to introduce safe drops, a system that worked a lot like CSGO or TF2's loot boxes, wherein a safe drops randomly and you have to purchase a drill at a fixed price. While this is a very lucrative and non-intrusive way for companies to continue making money off their game, the backlash lies in the fact that they've already been selling small DLCs this whole time and they promised they wouldn't do it. An additional controversy on top of this is that the skins received from the safes would have small stat boosts on them. Many people feared that this would be a pay-to-win scenario, but it's a co-op game. There's no competition. If anything, getting in a lobby with a person who has a stat-boosted weapon is a positive for the whole team. Well, yeah, sure, pay-to-win schemes are not good, and most criticisms of them are valid. I think getting too upset about this specific situation is a bit what's the word? Overboard. What, did you think I was gonna make a pun and say overkill? I can't believe you think so low of me. But the company listened. They fixed safe drops. Except for the ones that still need drills. Cheeky, but I'll let it slide.
Just a little whiff of her perfume makes my heart go boom.
Now, I'm, how you say, a little late to the party. I first purchased Payday 2 back in 2014. I booted it up once on my laptop and got to see the old safe house, but that's all that little laptop could take before heating up, crashing, dying, and reminding me how much it wants my slow and inevitable demise. That game would sit in my library for 4 years until I got a computer that could properly run it, and I gotta say, what a good fucking time to join. While the early part of that year was slow, I was able to learn the basics on my own, but then as the year started to pick up, Henry's Rock came out and then the Shacklethorne heist. It was like a series ramping up to something huge. After about 8 months, I had accumulated 150 hours of playtime. That's not too bad, but when you consider that there are players with over 1,000 hours, you realize that you're still very much a novice. But it was at this point when I decided to start streaming. I really have no idea why I did, I just did it. You know, I had moved to a new city, I was bored, there was nothing to do, jobs weren't calling me back, so why not? Why not play a game that I love so dearly? The first time I streamed Payday 2, I had a rush of like 5 to 10 people at any given time watching me play. This is huge if you're just starting out streaming, because you're used to maybe 1 or 2 people watching at a given time. I had a really active chat, people requesting to join in. It was extremely gratifying. I didn't think I could love a game anymore, but after finding a community of players, dare I say it, friends, the game totally changed for me. Playing in public lobbies or running solo or playing with the AI is always a great way to play, but you have not lived playing Payday 2 until you've had a Hungarian, an Australian, and a British person carry your dumb ass all the way through the hardest heist on the highest difficulty while you're dying and using up crucial supplies, and they do not once remark how poorly you're playing or make passing lewd comments about family members. It's just refreshing. And it's a key aspect to what makes Payday 2 one of the strongest communities in all of video gaming. A company can do their best to make a positive community, but at the end of the day, it's left up to the players. I'm not one for making friends through online video games, but this game has 100% turned that around for me, and I am thankful every day for it.
Let the passion warm you up inside. It's the flames of love.
CrimeFest 2018 tied up a lot of loose ends in the story of Payday 2 in a masterful way. I really don't have time to get into the story of Payday 2, but there is one, and it is not too shabby. The event was leading up to the ultimate heist. Robbing the motherfucking White House. Oh shit, boy! Do you ever rob the hell out of that White House? Well, not really. You just get some pardon documents that allow the characters to get off scot-free. And while I guess freedom is the ultimate reward, I was just kind of hoping for some national treasure shit. I don't know. You were just so close, Overkill. Just one heist where I get to be Nicolas Cage. That's all I really wanted. Once the heist was completed, the player would unlock a cinematic ending, which felt really sad and hollow. Years spent on the game just to watch players die. This really hits hard, but you can't end a Payday game without a fucking ARG, boys! Here we go again! And you know what? This was one hell of an ARG. If you weren't a deep Payday fan, do yourself a favor and check out some videos on this ARG specifically. It was fun to even know people who were part of solving this puzzle. So, you might be thinking to yourself, this little Payday 2 game, it's gotta be dead. Story's over. Payday 3 was announced a while back, but Starbreeze ain't doing too well with the money, and 505 Games left after the safe controversy, and they're still getting money from the franchise. And Overkill's Walking Dead just got pulled from Steam, so they can't finish the planned DLCs that people paid for. Now Reddit can all camp around the flaming body of Payday 2 and scream, "Dead game." Right? Not even fucking close, y'all. The community that surrounds this game will keep it afloat for years to come. There are folks right now modding this game, adding new characters, new skins, entire levels, some heists that are even better than official maps. These modders put a goddamn Black Ops zombie mode, and it even has secrets in it. I guarantee you right now, there is someone streaming Payday 2, and they probably don't have a full lobby. You can probably jump in and help them out. Or if you're an unexperienced player, there's so many veterans that would love to take you under their wing and teach you all that this game has. Now is a better time than ever to join the Payday 2 community, to play this game that has offered some people over 1,000 hours of fun and entertainment. And that's not even mentioning how cheap the game is. It's almost got all of the DLC bundled, and they look for any excuse to put it on sale. All right, this is just a bit off script here. I am just as worried as everyone else is about the future of the Payday franchise. I think that if it ends up in the hands of anyone but Overkill, it could destroy the franchise. I think that a lot of us would be tricked into buying it, and we wouldn't get the typical Payday experience. And you know, that experience means a lot to me. I moved to Texas. That's, you know, 12 hours away from home. I have like one family member here and my girlfriend, and that's it. I'm in a big city by myself. And to get the opportunity to feel community again in a place where I don't feel at home is something that I don't want to give up. The ability to hop into any game of Payday and a friend will be there and we can talk and just have a good time and relax feels so good. And I don't want to lose that anytime soon. I really don't. And I don't want to move back home because I've started to like it here, and I started to like it because I have something to come back to, and I think that that's what the Payday community represents to me. So I don't know, we just gotta sit and hope for the best, or at the very least we could all start robbing banks, but I don't think Overkill will take our money if we follow in the path of their game. So I don't know. I think for now I'm just gonna put another 300 to 400 hours into this game, hanging out with friends and, you know, just enjoy myself. I think this final point really brings me to a list that I owe a lot of people, and that is a list of thank yous. And first on the docket is my girlfriend and my dog for putting up with hours upon hours of me screaming at my computer screen and streaming and talking to folks over the internet and just, I don't know, just for being wonderful. And then Evan for letting me write and produce this episode. Neither of us really knew what it was going to be, and I'm thankful that it has come out to be something worth posting. This section is dedicated to the folks that just make this Twitch thing, this Payday 2 thing, feel like home. It's in no order. I'm sure there's folks that I've left off, but I'm just gonna rapid fire through this section. Super big thanks to D2, Bloodcrow, Alt, Darren over at Summit City, Filthy Heathen, congratulations on graduating. Olessa, Nos, Pluto, Lowboy Ghost, Sneaky Bastard, Fatal Stormer, Blind Seer, Polar Knights, Alexandra, Anubis, Shaggy, Craigite, Admiral Juan, and Captain Tiff from The Lost One. I keep trying to push their channel. I absolutely adore it. Extralux, Hargmon, Mess B, and of course the notorious Firewolf, who somehow manages to be in literally everyone's chat at the exact same time. I would be remiss to also not mention the community pillars, the folks that really bring people in and teach them how to play the game and make them really love and care about Payday 2, those being Vince the Other, True Barload, and Rob Thanatos. These guys are just, they're fantastic folks. I highly recommend checking them out, as well as the other folks. They just make it fun, and at the end of the day, that's the most important part. Thank you all for sticking through this very, very long video that's been a passion project of mine. If you're new here, hit subscribe, or if you're old here, hit the like, I don't know, or hit both. Do it, I dare ya. Triple dog dare ya, you won't do it.